Thank you everyone for taking the time to tune in today. Today's episode of the Topping Show is proudly sponsored by Topping Technologies. Topping Technologies is an IT value-added reseller and services company with a special proficiency in IT security. Heck, I see their founder at least twice a day. Guys say he's quite handsome and brilliant. He's me, you see, that's the joke. If you're an IT leader or a business owner, reach out to the team at sales@toppingtechnologies.com. Also, still giving away a free flamethrower with every IT purchase with Picatinny rail adapter so you can mount it to any standard AR-15 like all awesome accessories can be. Go to toppingtechnologies.com and click the flamethrower button to learn more and see me shooting a flamethrower. And lastly, trying to get to 6,000 subscribers by the end of the month. So if you can click that button and tell your friends, I would greatly appreciate it. Now going over to the business part of the podcast, you have a Toyota Supra selling for over $200,000, which is quite a pretty penny to say the least, because it usually costs like $65,000. But auctions and final editions are a crazy thing. This is brought to us thanks to Motor1.com. And a rare thing in the automobile part of the show, I do not need to give you a visual disclaimer because to me, the new Supra looks kind of cool. Or I should say the old one is dying this year. Now, this is brought to us again thanks to Kyle Kennard, who's a writer at Motor1.com. And he says, quote, "Someone paid way too much for this final edition Supra. Sure, it's a limited edition version of Toyota's outgoing sports coupe, but this Supra's price stretched well past six figures." And here you can see that sexy looking Supra GR edition, which is the top. Well, this is also a limited edition. But this is the track version. It looks awesome, except for that stupid license plate that they bolted on the front. I know it's regulation, even the European market, which is, or is that Japan? Hard to say. It's got the foreign license plate that's very thin, more rectangular, much more than those in America. Ours is a little bit fatter, like our people here. Now, diving into the specifics of the article, they say, quote, "Death and taxes may be life's only two certainties. But I think there's a third. People overpaying for limited edition sports cars. In this case, at least, it wasn't a boomer totem rolling down the auction block at Mecum. Nope, a Dutch enthusiast shelled out more than $200,000 for a Toyota Supra. Of course, this isn't any old Supra. It's a Toyota GR Supra A90 Final Edition, one of just 300 built worldwide. The total price after the extortion, the taxes paid in the Netherlands, geez Louise, it's 190,000. I was going to say Netherlands. That's probably close enough to New Zealand. What kind of money do they use in the Hobbit? I'm only kidding, partially. It equates to about $260,000 in U.S. currency, which I was going to say, let's get that rear on the screen here. Again, a lot of people didn't like the new Supra, or, last Mark V edition, some people call it, because it is, made in a OEM factory and it's a BMW, but still they put some Toyota logos on there and new styling. Now they said, quote, that likely to startle anyone who spent time on the GR Supra configurator here in the US, where the Toyota MSRP starts at $56,900 for the base. And they say, well, that's also with the straight 4 engine. Straight 6 is what you want for this. And stretches up to $67,950 for the US own market edition, Mark V Final Edition. However, the Dutch car in question is different gravy altogether. Interesting choice of words, this journalist. Now they say, quote, "As noted, the A90 Final Edition is limited to 300 units overall, but just 150 of those cars will make it to the EU region at that price point, which means Dutch buyer paid more than 100,000 more over MSRP to snack. Geez Louise, to buy that? They say, worth it? Well, that's for the new owner to decide. The tax situation in the Netherlands accounts for a huge chunk of the premium, so it's unlikely any car in the A90 Final Edition price and efficiency bracket would have run up much cheaper. At the very least, we salute the incredible dedicated Supra fan. We look forward to the limited edition Supra rolling cost Mecum auction in another 30 years with 12 miles on the odometer and offering 12 times the price sold in 2025. They say death and taxes after all. Which, yeah, part of me, it's almost heartbreaking how many of these are being treated as investments, which, again, not investment advice. I have to clarify that because it's the United States, all that kind of regulation around, videos on the Rumble and the YouTube. But yeah, not financial advice. Personally, I think one of the dumbest things to do is buy a collector car in terms of building financial wealth, because pretty much every time in history you lose money on that. And even more often than not, you will not beat something like an index fund, the S&P 500. They had the GMC Cyclone, is a 2-door SUV from the 90s that sold at auction for like $250,000 a couple months ago. And the owner paid like $38,000, something like that, new back in the 90s. And everyone thought, this guy's a genius. He made $250,000. No, he's not that smart, because if he took that same money and put in the S&P 500 index over that same time period, he would have made $750,000. That's also not having to worry about a garage to keep the car in. You gotta make sure it's protected. You have to have insurance on it. So again, I hope that the owner actually drives this. I would argue this beautiful piece of marvel of engineering, and hopefully you got one of the options with a stick shift. Again, it's one of those things where if I had more jingle in my pocket, I would have got a Mark V Supra. Obviously, once they had the stick shift option. And it's a fun little, BMW car. It's a coupe. Obviously, it's getting rarer and rarer these days. There's rumors that Toyota's going to come out with Mark 6. Maybe it'll finally be, made by Toyota. That'd be kind of nice. But yeah, the craziness of auctions and scarcity. Granted, again, this is just it looks slightly cooler than the regular Supra. I'll give them that. But yeah, final editions, they are a thing in and of itself. But let me know, do you think this owner will like drive it maybe 12 miles or barely any, and they'll treat it as an investment mechanism to try auction off in a couple of decades and make some more money? Or do you think they'll actually take to the track and drive it and have fun as, the engineers actually want us to? Let me know your thoughts in the comments, because as always, be fascinated to hear what you have to say. Thank you everyone for taking the time to tune in today. Again, trying to get to 6,000 subscribers by the end of the month, so you can click that button. I greatly appreciate it. Also, give me a thumbs up, thumbs down, or a comment. It's a great way to give me some additional feedback, letting me know how I can make the show better and better. Lastly, don't forget to take time to tell your family, tell your friends, tell your coworkers, heck, tell your enemies, tell anyone and everyone. Just stay safe and fight the good fight.